Okay, good morning, members. So you want some crystals? I'll try to give us some crystals here real quick. So this is Chaos Curls the Moon, right? And normally we put a little loop there for our bail, but you certainly could build it this way. Make sure you have a little loop there for a jump ring and a chain, and give yourself little loops here where you can get a wire from both sides onto a crystal. So some crystals have holes, this one does, and in which case it's quite easy. You just take one of your chaotic curl wires and pass through there. Make a nice wrap around the crystal so it's not just a straight line going through there. Make a little curl on the sides or put a bead ball on the side. Make it pretty, tying it on. And then get one from this side, so that it's balanced. And that's a beautiful, look, that's a beautiful pendant, right? I'm just trying to inspire you for some things. The other thing you can do if your crystal has a hole through it is you can just do a hammered arc, right? Curve your little ends out, take some 26 gauge, pass it through, tie it on, and wrap it around a couple times, and you have this really nice organic look. You can put an earring hook in here, or you can put a jump ring and chain, or 2 jump rings and chain. However you want to do that. That is super easy. And, again, a lot of crystals have a hole through the top, like this one. Some crystals, however, do not, and they're more rough, and they're two-tone, right? So this is more creamy white, and this is the golden part of the citrine. So when I go to wrap this, depending on what I want to use, I can either cover all that up and mount my crystal this way, right? Or I can wrap that up and mount my crystal hanging. Real easy stuff. And I could still even do it with the Chaos Curls, because even if it did not have a hole in it, I could easily wrap a couple of wires and make some nice, curls as they pass through each other, as they pass around each other to get this crystal. Bring some curl up on it and around to the body. The rough crystal is easy to catch. The wire will just latch onto it. So that's an idea. Look how beautiful that one would do if I just wrapped a few times there. Or this one is a tiny little crystal. I could make a few coils down here, just make my moon wires come down from either side, make a little spring coil cup, do a little curl up there, and that is super gorgeous. So you can do that. I'm pointing out that you guys have a lot of the skill sets to already, do interesting things with your pointed crystals or your rough crystals. Here goes another one. I could dangle it this way. Mount it this way, like I talked about, by making a little cup. If I made my Chaos Curls Moon larger, I could probably have worked it in there somehow, even. And I could even, do like this, right? And dangle it here from the bottom, deeply, That's beautiful. When you get into crystals that are smooth, like this little tourmaline I've got, the wire may or may not, grip it as well. Like if this one didn't have a hole, it's all smooth. And it's fairly even in its body size. So doing a coil, when you just do a coil bezel, you want the top to be a little more broad than the bottom so that gravity works for you and the coil holds onto it. If you did it this way in a coil, certainly it could slip out because the bottom is wider than the top. So that makes sense, right? Whether it has a hole, pretend this one didn't have a hole, but you get what I'm saying when you wrap these things. Alright, so I'm going to do a couple of simple little wraps for us, like you guys asked for. So here's another beautiful little tourmaline, watermelon tourmaline crystal I have. And I think we'll just make this a crystals into Christmas kind of month then, because I actually have a ton of designs, and if you guys are into your crystals, then we'll do a few of them. Okay, and then we'll work it into our live stream here in November as well. So I'm starting with 16 inches of round, soft copper wire. That's 16 inches. My crystal is 1/2 inch long and just shy of 1/4 inch in diameter. I'll find the approximate center of these wires. And I'm just gonna, this is big wire, so be real careful about your crystal. I'm gonna make a nice wrap around the top of that crystal. I've come down the back. I want this side to be forward, so it's okay if it slips around a little bit right now. Leave yourself a little bit of space right there so that you can turn 90 degree. You're at a slant in the back, which is great. Make sure the wires hugging the crystal. Be careful about not breaking any of your elements. And bring the wire to the back, or at least to the same side as the other one. And that's pretty good. And again, the crystal might still slide. It's okay. So from right here, I've got both wires in the back. I'm going to take a sturdy flat plier or my chain nose plier. I'm going to make a very controlled bend up in the end of that wire. See my crystal slipping a little bit, and that's okay. We'll get control over that soon. Just keep a hold of it. And then right here we'll do the same. Take your plier, just make a very deliberate 90 degree turn up. Straighten your wires out. It's kind of like you've mounted this crystal in the middle of a wire with a spring coil on either side of it, just like that. If you need to put a little tape, you can do that. For right now, I'm just going to very gently, so that I'm protecting my crystal, I'm just very gently squeezing this wire a little bit tighter and onto the contour of the crystals, or the crystal. And it might still slip. My crystal is not perfectly round, and this is thicker wire, so sometimes when you come around, it doesn't hug as tight as you would like. And we'll shore that up even more, but just a little pinch here and there if you need it. Don't stress your crystal. So from up here, put tape if you need to. From up here, I'm going to go not quite a 1/2 inch, but a little bit more than 1/4 inch. I'm looking at what I consider to be the front. Just going to take my plier. I'm going to back bend that wire straight up and onto the face of the crystal. I'll hold on to that wire sideways and make an elegant bend to the right hand side. Try to kind of stay to the, not really to the front, but kind of to the side of the crystal when you come back. Here you'll use your finger, the pad of my finger, make a nice beautiful curve. Bring your wire around to the back side here. Don't push, don't pull, don't lose your beautiful curve. If you want to hammer it, now would be the time. But make a 360 wrap all the way around. Pinch it tight. Maintain that beautiful space you have. till you get a nice solid wrap. Okay. From here you can bring this wire up. Just use a fine plier, turn it up 90 degrees to meet the other one. I like to keep them side by side, so I'm just going to turn it just like that. And now here you can weave, right? I could have put bead balls on my way up, but this 18 gauge, so I can tie, bead balls on, or I can do that groovy thing I did with the 1mm ball chain. From up here, I want to get a dowel that's round. You can use your round nose. And I just want to grip it right there. I just need a little bit of a bail. Just turn these wires straight onto themselves, just like that. I can hold on to that. I didn't burnish any of that because this is 18 gauge and this is a tiny little crystal. But if you needed to harden that wire up, you could have burnished an inch of it like we've talked about in previous videos. I'm just going to pull it off to the side of the crystal here. And this will be the bail side. So I'm looking at my crystal now upside down. And I'm just going to kind of get off to the side of it. And I'll do the same. I'll use the pad of my finger, kind of bow and turn the wire as I come down. Make a nice curve, and that's beautiful. From here I can do a couple of things. I've got one that's going to be shorter than the other one because of just the way, the way the first one started. So I could use all of this wire, or I could make this real simple. My crystal is not escaping this frame in any way, shape, or form now. It's got a little something on top of it here, and it's got, capture at the bottom, and it's got maximum exposure on both sides. So we can terminate these two wires simply by wrapping them around this stem right here, or you can wrap them around and come back up for more design. You can come back up the other side, etc. So I'll show you one way, but I hope that inspires you to come up with a bunch of your own ways. I'm going to come behind it, and I'm going to maintain my beautiful curve. And I'll just get a little slant on it like that. And get right below this guy, and right beside him, hold on just a little bit below this first point. And I'll turn these two wires straight up onto the face of the crystal, and I'm right beside this first wire now. With these two, I'll need to probably do some tying them together, but that leaves these two wires over here for design in either direction. And I can even jump to the outside of that one if I wanted to. Put a little curl on this one going this way a little bit. Pinch it down. Now you can weave up on it. This one I can use on the other side, right? I'll have to tie it right there, but rather than go in that direction with it, I can go this direction with it. Make a nice little back bend there. I like to leave them open a little bit in case I need to get wire through there for a tie, which I'm going to have to do later. So for right now, I'm just getting the bend on it, and that's beautiful. I think I'm just going to do something simple and come back with this one into a nice little spiral, but I'll go ahead and wrap it first. So I'll get some 28 gauge weaving wire. Alright, so I've got a couple of feet of 28 gauge weaving wire, and I'm just going to probably anchor my wire down here to the back and stitch these all together first. So I've got a nice convenient space right here. I'll insert an inch, hang on to it, and I'll make a couple of coils to anchor myself. Alright, so I just made 4 or 5 wraps there to anchor myself. I slid my coils down here. I want to tie this outside wire on now, so now I'm in position. I can do a few wraps and get these two together. These two right here. And that'll leave my wires stable for me to make some nice spiraling designs with this little fragment wire here. Oh, getting all caught up. And I took 2 feet in case I want to coil up that side, and I think I probably do, or coil down that side. Okay, and that's enough to just get started. I didn't actually mean to grab that one, but it's okay that I did. And actually, I'll go ahead and just do some coils here for decoration against this wire. You can do whatever you feel like. Just make it nice and neat. And actually either side could be the top, but I think I intended this one to be the top, but you know, recognize that either side could be. You could also do it and have it go sideways because you got loops on either side. You can make a sideways pendant with your beautiful crystal. And certainly it could also be here as the bracelet. Okay, so that's a lot of options on this single frame. Okay, I'll coil a little bit more, and then I'm just going to turn it into a real cute spiral right there. Coiled a bit, I cut it to about 1/2 inch from the coil up. This is about 1/2 inch, so the whole thing is about 1 inch. You can do yours to your liking. Take my round nose plier, work a nice beautiful spiral into that space. I'm going to snip out my little munchy end right there. Make it a little more elegant. So you can do whatever you want. Nice and simple. I could pull that out and hammer it. I said I was going to, but then maybe I changed my mind. We won't get complicated. And I have this 28 gauge here. I can attach to my frame. I can attach that little arm in a very neat way to my frame with a couple of nice little wraps. Trying to get it into a figure 8 so that I'm not having to stretch wire go across there. That's pretty good. I like that. So I landed underneath, so it's a nice neat tie on. And then I can use the rest of this and coil up here if I want to, which I think I might do. Alright, so I just did a little coil, overhanded coil straight up the side of my frame. And I'll tap it all nice and neat, my little pliers. Alright, so I went ahead and finished my short wire, and I got a loop. I went ahead and added a new piece of 28 gauge. Don't give yourself a little loop like I did. And I just continued to wrap down the back. And now I'm over here. And with this one, you know, you can do whatever you want to do. I've got some length here, and I can leave it very open, and I can weave, or I can coil, or I can do some more design. I'm always one to try design first, and then if I don't like it, I can cut it away. I love that. I think I'm just going to tie it on right there using my half round, and I'm going to come over. It'll be tight to try to go 360. I mean, you could try. If you feel like you can do a 360 around that neck, do that. I think I'm going to leave mine like this, and I'm going to use this 28 gauge, and I'm going to catch it a few times. So I've got a couple of wraps. I'll go back through the frame here. And I might do that actually a couple of times. Ooh, there it is. Go through nice and neat. And that's twice, and that should hold it. You can either terminate your weaving wire, or you can use it to add bead balls along here, or you can do some coiling along this one. I might just end it. If you end it, try to end it, you know, to the inside or somewhere discreet where the end of that wire isn't going to let go. For the sake of ease, I think I am just going to end it right here. So I'll just make a couple of wraps and then go through the neck. And I'm going to end it inside that one of the coils right there, I think. Ah, there it goes. Woo! Right? Woo! And now I have my wire steadily over here, and I can do whatever I want with it. I think what I'm going to do is flip it into a little design. See it a little bit, or not. Just make a little spiral here in the back to end it. Oh, maybe I decided I'll come to the front. There's always options. I think I like it up here instead. So go all the way around, give myself a tiny little loop there. I think you get the idea though. You can do whatever you want. And bring it down the side right there. I think that's quite pretty. Fix my elegance over here that I munched up a little bit. I like this one in the back, so I think I'm going to take it to the back. You can either tie it. There's not much to flip over, so I think I will just tie it along the back here and end it in a cute little clean tie. around the center stem. Be careful for your crystal when you're coming back through. Cut that little nub off. Make a nice secure pinch right here. Make sure you don't feel anything right there. And that is a gorgeous pendant. Let's just fix up some of the elegance here. So I want to got an odd little bend right there. I want to just make it a little prettier. So I'm going to straddle what I don't feel is the elegant part. Just give very gentle taps. It shifts wire, so you want to be careful about doing that and watching other wire, but you'll just make little love taps until you're completely happy with yours. Get a round nose in here and turn that out a little bit more. Okay, but I think you get the idea. Put a little curve back on that to the front. And that gives you a very beautiful, elegant, swervy frame. Put some bead balls, you know, here and there, or not. You can see that you can weave more wire on if your crystal were much larger. You can see that you can wear this in either direction, and you can probably feel that even though the crystal might jiggle a little bit, see mine does, there's no escaping this frame. So you can always be real gentle with your crystal if you need to make some tightening adjustments. Oh, sacrifice a fingernail, shift those a little bit, open them up, make it a little more elegant and not so death grip. Okay, so there you go, you guys. This is Jaqualine. I hope you enjoy. You know, I would probably also coil or do something more with that bit, tie it back here. But 18 gauge is pretty big wire. And just squeeze it there a little bit and tighten it up. It's pretty big wire, so, you know, and this is on a tiny crystal, so it should hold. And we'll put it on our favorite chain. So we can put it on our beautiful favorite 1.5 millimeter faceted ball chain, and that makes an absolutely gorgeous pendant for your crystals, and it's super clean. It gives you a lot of room to do more. You can certainly embed more crystals. You know, you can do some faceted prong gems in there. You can tie bead balls on. You can add more wire simply by weaving more wire onto the frame, or by tying more wire on using some of the stems and some of the areas in the back, you know, or the stem here. Okay, so lots of opportunity for this very simple capture, and this was just 18 or 16 inches of 18 gauge round soft copper wire, and she's beautiful. Alright, you guys, we'll see you for the next one. Enjoy this one and have a great weekend.